I know it's too close. It's too close.
Please give attention, please. 있어. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to start. So here today we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the March 1st movement, which was a significant milestone for the independence of South Korea. Today we are so grateful to have many leaders from different communities. I'd like to recognize one each individuals, and if you're in the crowd, please feel free to raise your hand or bow to the crowd. Mr. John Kim, President of Naga Canadian Association, is here. Is Mr. John Kim here? Okay. Mr. Jae Chung, Chair of Canadian Multicultural Council, is here. Mr. Sik Ikeda, former President of the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center. Thank you. Mr. Tom Bonkari, the leader of the Laos community. Mr. Columbus Leo, leader of the Taiwanese community in Toronto. Mr. Henry Ri, the leader of Taiwanese community in the Honorary Council for Malaysia. Mr. Joseph Chen, Cambodian, I apologize. Pim Lang Lien, Taiwanese Women National Association. Thank you. So with that said, we'd like to give a pledge to the Korean flag.
Celebrate such thing as fighting for human rights, fighting for oppression, fighting for our dignity from the Japanese 30 years of Japanese colony. It does not stop there. I think we have still, even though North and South Korea celebrate the same March 1st Korean Independence Movement Day, we are still divided into two. The North Korean community are still fighting for their dignity, their human rights. We pray for them, and one day, in the near future, that there will be one united Korea Peninsula. I like to recognize that we have John Tory with us, and Mayor office has graciously invited all the
존경하는 우리 한인 동포 여러분, 안녕하십니까? 오늘 이 순간은 굉장히 우리에게 역사적인 시간이 될 것입니다. 지난 3월 1일은 우리 한반도가 한민족들이 일제 치하에서 식민지 속에서 독립하기 위해서 독립운동을 시작한 100년이 되는 날이었습니다. 이날을 계기로 해서 우리가 오늘의 대한민국이 있었으리라 생각이 됩니다. 또한 오늘 이 시간 우리가 그 사람들의 우리 선조들의 의를 이어받아서 우리가 그 기상을 이끌어 좀 더 나은 대한민국, 또 더 나아가서는 평화 통일된 그런 한반도가 될 수 있기를 기원합니다.
안녕하세요. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here today, being with you and many distinguished guests, and to commemorate the centennial March 1st independence movement of Korea. On first day of March in 1919, almost all Korean people arose to register against the savage and oppressive Japanese reign and to regain nation's independence. At the time, we lost our independence though. As we commemorate the centennial March 1st independence movement today, we are very much proud of our ancestors for their non-violent rally to regain nation's independence.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize a few people that I missed in the beginning. Sarah Fisher is from Don Valley North. She is a candidate for the Conservative Party of Canada. Other candidates that joined us include Sean Hu from Scarborough Agent Court. Are you in the audience? Yes. Oh, perfect. Yeah, hi, Sean. Yvonne Robertson. She's representing Don Valley West. Oh, she's not here. Urshad Chaudhry from Scarborough Center is here. Alex Room from Markham Burnhill Riding is here. And yes, I'd like to pass it on to Mr. JeumSik Joo for his congratulatory remarks.
예, 반갑습니다. 날씨 추운데 여러분들 뵙게 돼서 반갑습니다. 오늘 그 기념일인데 연설 길게 한다고 좋은 문구 아니니까 인사로 대신하겠습니다. 자주 뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.
He was a president of Federation of Korean Canadian Association. Next, I'd like to invite a very special guest. He's been a long supporter of the Korean Canadian community and the events from Korean Lunar Celebration and many, many more. We are grateful to have his continued support. I'd like to introduce His Worship John Tory. Please welcome with a great round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and my pleasure to be here with you today, and I want to single out, there's many people from public life, or those wanting to be in public life, who are here, and that's a good thing. But I want to, in particular, single out, first of all, Raymond Cho, who was someone who served with us at City Council, and we miss him there, but now, of course, he's gone on to much greater heights in that he's a provincial minister in the government of Ontario, and always, of course, a good friend to Toronto and a proud member of the Korean-Canadian community, and someone who has sought and achieved public office in 2 different areas of government. And my 2 colleagues here, James Pasternak, who is a member of City Council and member of the Executive Committee of the City and Chair of the Infrastructure and Environment Committee, and Councillor John Fillion, a member of Toronto City Council. And I think one of the messages I bring here today as the Mayor of Toronto is that we are all trying to work together to get things done for the city and to be here at appropriate times together with others from public life who are here to show our solidarity with the Korean-Canadian community on occasions like this that are historically important and that remind us of some things that we have in front of us going forward. It's been mentioned often that we have still an objective, all of us collectively, to try to achieve for the benefit of the world the unification and peace on the Korean peninsula as a whole. Today is an opportunity to talk about that, but yes, to highlight in historical terms the path that Korea took towards becoming an independent and democratic country. It is indeed this week the 100th anniversary of the beginning of the independence movement in Korea. Business, in the cultural life of the city, and the social life of the city, the political life of the city, and I honor you for that, and it is my privilege to be here today to mark this occasion, which is one for reflection and one for hope. One for hope, because it had a happy ending and that Korea became that independent democratic country we know so well, and I'm confident that the wish and the hope that we have today, which is for a unified, peaceful Korean peninsula, can also be achieved with the same kind of dedication and perseverance. Thank you very much for having me.
Bravo.
Thank you, Mr. John Tory. There's one more person I'd like to recognize at this time is Kostas Menekis. He is a candidate for the Richmond Hill for Conservative Party of Canada. Next, I'd like to invite the Honorable Raymond Cho, Minister of Seniors and Accessibility, for his remarks.
네, 안녕하세요. 네, 참 반갑습니다. 오늘 pardon me, I'm going to say a few words in Korean, then I will switch to English. May I call on my colleague, MPP Vincent Kerr and MPP Alice Bobby, can you come and stand beside me? 우리 36년간 일본 그 독재 치하에 고생했지만 우리가 3.1 운동을 했기 때문에 참 아주 자랑스러운 민족이 됐습니다. 만약에 우리가 3.1 운동이 없었으면 참 창평 민족이 됐을 텐데 우리 조상들이 먼저 더 깨어나서 우리나라를 잘 지켰으면 3.1 운동이 필요 없는데 우리 3.1 운동은 우리 민족의 자랑이지만 우리 인권 운동이 아니고 전 세계가 배워야 할 그런 운동이라고 생각합니다. He is a good friend of a Korean community, every community, whole Toronto. I'm so glad that Mayor John Tory is with us, and my good 2 friends, excellent councillor, Councillor John Fillion and the Councillor James Pasternak. They join us. Let's give them a round of applause again. We have one of the councillor, Councillor Godwin Chan from Richmond Hill. He's a very close friend of a Korean community. Yeah.
안녕하세요.
And of all these people, one person I really have to recognize is Toronto Ambassador, Mr. Sidiketa. No, I have lots respect. You're Japanese Canadian, but you are human Canadian. No matter what, no? When it's human rights issue, you are there. So, see, I really appreciate. We know what the March for independence, but those who don't know the background, I'll just say briefly. Korea was invaded by Japan in 1910, and 1919, with the independence movement, over 2 million people, whole Korean peninsula, they participated. and the tens of thousands of Koreans were arrested because of rally, and many thousand people got killed, many thousand people got tortured. But the important thing, the Korean people never used any force. It's a totally non-violent campaign. You're with us. You are for not just the Korean, but for whole humanities. We're so proud that we have an excellent mayor and excellent two councils participating. And thank you. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
For Don Valley North.
Thank you. Mayor and all the distinguished guests, President Jim and Daniel Lee and Luimo, Minister. So good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to be here today. Celebration of the 100th anniversary of the March 1st Korean independence movement. I want to thank Japanese rule. Years later, 2 million Koreans participated protest. The movement was met with brutality by Japanese. Thousands were killed and as many as 46,000 people arrested for their involvement and protested. I wish all of you a happy and fulfilling centennial anniversary to mark Korean independence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ke. Next, I'd like to invite Member of Provincial Parliament, Aris Babikian, for his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Your Worship, councillors, colleagues, all from all levels of government. It is great pleasure to be here to celebrate this important milestone in the history of the Korean nation. The sacrifices of the 100 years ago did not go in vain. Those sacrifices paid off. Today, if it wasn't for the sacrifices of those heroic individuals 100 years ago, we will not see Korea today what it is. One of the most advanced technologically and economically advanced nations of the world. So as you see, our struggle is not over yet, and I think we will have a much better celebration down the road when the two Koreans are unified and the Korean people are one nation once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite Toronto City Councillor John Fillon. We're at the heart of his hometown, so let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, and thank you for having this event here in this square, which is really a gathering place, and we meet here so often, all sorts of groups from all over. We meet here to celebrate our collective humanity and often to advocate for human rights, and it's a wonderful place to do it. So thank you all for choosing this location. This is also, as you all know, home to Willowdale is home to a very large Korean Canadian population who have done so much, not only for our country and our province, our city, but also for the Willowdale community. So thank you so much for all that you contribute with your culture and economic vitality, but also reminding all of us who maybe have not had to struggle for human rights, reminding us all that we should never take it for granted and how important those values are. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, with much pleasure, let us welcome Toronto City's Councillor James Pasternak. He has a scroll to present to Mr. John Lee.
Well, thank you very much for this lovely invitation. And in advance of coming here today, I read a great deal about the history of your independence movement of 100 years ago. And it affirms the truism that the road to freedom, the road to independence, is not an easy one. But the Korean people persevered, and to this day they represent all that we cherish here in Canada. Entrepreneurship, freedom, enthusiasm, contributing to the great city that we have here. And in that preamble, I'd like to present, on behalf of the mayor and I, a congratulatory scroll. I'll read it. Mayor John Tory and Toronto City Councillor James Pashnak would like to extend their heartfelt congratulations to the Federation of Korean Canadian Associations on the occasion of the 100th Korean Independence Movement Day. On this extremely important milestone, we recognize the remarkable achievements that members of the Korean community have made in our city.
Thank you. I'd like to call upon Toronto City Councillor Gordon Chan, if he's in the crowd. Oh, okay, let's give a big round of applause for his remarks.
Thank you very much. 안녕하세요. I once do, when I go to University of Toronto, I do live in the city of Toronto, Mr. Mayor, and my colleagues. Yeah, we are all in the Greater Toronto area. I guess I do come from Richmond Hill, just north of Toronto. No pun there. But you know what? A lot of people who spoke before me have spoken all the right things. I just have three things to say. Number one, this is certainly a historic day that we should always remember. In addition to talking about, as Minister Cho talking about, thinking about in terms of the human rights movement. So again, 감사합니다, and thank you for inviting me to share this particular historic day with all of you. And from Richmond Hill, all the very best to the Korean Canadian community. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. We're so blessed to have everyone from the nearby neighborhoods. I'd like to invite all the politicians who gave us opening remarks for a group photo before we have a flag raising ceremony.
Okay. 만세 means long live Korea. Long live Korea. Okay. 대한 독립 만세! 대한 통일 만세! 대한민국 만세! Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So that concludes our event.